Karongo from Kenya. Thank you for giving me a minute. As a young man representing Kenya, the youth here in South Africa International AIDS Conference, what are your views on AIDS, on HIV and AIDS, and what would you like to see changing from the face of HIV in Southern Africa?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. My name is James Karongo. I'm from Kenya. And I think my opinion and views about HIV and AIDS 2016 is that we have come so far. There are strides and several strides that have been made, but there still needs more to be done. Because remember, we have the 2030 target, which is to reach the 90-90-90. And therefore, for me, I still feel more needs to be done, and especially to the adolescents and the young people. If we are to achieve the 90-90 target, that means 90% of those who are HIV living with HIV knowing their status, 90% of those also being on treatment, and 90% of those achieving viral suppression. For us to be able to achieve that, I think we need to involve the young people and the adolescents in the fight against the epidemic. Otherwise, we will not go anywhere. Because remember, the adolescents and the young people are the drivers of the epidemic. Therefore, my message today is that we need to involve them more for us to be able to achieve the targets that have been set.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and enjoy your evening.
Luyanda, can you please give us an insight on people living with, your views on people living with albinism? What is it like in your community with HIV and AIDS?
People living with albinism are also people. It's just that we lack in pigmentation, so that's why you find us that we are lighter in complexion. We are facing a lot of challenges outside. We are facing a lot of challenges, and people do not understand our condition. They do not understand our challenges with our eyesight. Our condition has a problem with the sun. So it's more of people not understanding and people thinking that there's something special about us beyond us being human. Yes. So, yeah.
Is HIV, tell me about the presence of HIV in your community. Is it spoken about? And as a young man, I see that you're an activist. Tell me about that in your community.
Okay. In my community, we have a community clinic.
Can you tell me about, the HIV presence within people with albinism? Is it spoken about? Are there many with it? And how do you handle it in your community? And these questions are really because most people kind of detach you mostly from normal people. As you said that we are normal people.
Yes.
So most people do not really understand you well. Can you tell us, are you affected by the very same? And yes, tell us about it in your community.
Okay. Right now we are going through a very rough patch as people living with albinism, because people believe that getting a person with albinism and then using them as muti would cure HIV and AIDS and other sicknesses. It will bring in wealth. So right now we are very much in fear of our lives. So it's those things that people need to be educated about. But knowing that we are also human beings, so we can get affected by the virus itself. And we are in the community that I come from, we also have a clinic. So clinic has nurses and doctors, and it is well informed. So in my community, I'm lucky that we have people who are informed about the virus, and so then we have information. Yes.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Speaking about the youth, International AIDS Conference, it's here, you are here, you're making the noise, and you're the youth. Tell us your name and where are you from?
My name is Emily, and I'm from Swaziland. I live in Swaziland.
And where are you from?
I'm Lisa, and I'm from Germany.
Okay.
Currently in South Africa, living in South Africa, yeah.
What are your views on HIV and AIDS and the young people?
Oh gosh. I think it's an important issue that has been attacked from up high, on the higher levels, but people haven't really engaged the youth with it at all. Especially in Swaziland, you need the youth to come out, you need them to be aware, and you need them to be standing up for what they want out of their rights and responsibilities when it comes to HIV and transmission.
What are your views?
Yes, I can only agree to that, but I feel like on this conference the youth has been included a lot, and the subject of the youth being very important. It's just a big thing here, and I'm very impressed by that, and I think it's the most important thing to empower youth.
Thank you very much. Tulani Kabai, where are you from, Mr. Kabai?
I'm from Zimbabwe.
It's nice to see a young man like you advocating for a change within HIV treatment, etc. I saw you much earlier. I'm glad that you've given us a moment. Tell me, what are your views on HIV and AIDS in SADC, Southern Africa?
All right, thank you for having me on the show. AIDS is actually a devastating disease that we as young people have been part of. And looking at it, new infections are being recorded among young people, that is the adolescent. And it's something that needs to be acted upon, because if it doesn't, it means that the generation will be wiped out. So my views on HIV in relation to Southern Africa is that there's need for more investments in terms of health, it's access to youth-friendly health services for young people per se, and also treatment which is quite available at all times. So what we're saying is that we do have the 3 global 90s, the 1990 call by UNAIDS, but we're saying that it's not enough, because those 3s are looking at prevention, treatment and care. But we need to emphasize more on prevention as well, because if we want to eradicate HIV by 2030, it means that prevention methods or strategies have to be scaled up. And that includes meaningful involvement of young people in those processes. Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Interviewing Ronnie, Sia, and Piwe from the trans community. Thank you for giving us a minute in this wonderful week where all things are being spoken. And I thought that you best to speak to, firstly, just before we continue, I think a lot of people out there are not sure how to address individuals like you. How are you addressed? Do people say he or do they say she?
I think we are comfortable with the she, because as you can see, it's very confusing. He. Yeah, but even though you know that I was born a male, but yeah, I'm comfortable with the word she, because I'm a trans woman.
I don't conform to any. If you want to say he, I'm fine. If you want to say she, I'm also cool with it.
I'd rather go with she or her. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
So does this mean, because my questions are really for the general public, not for myself, but so does this mean these answers are indicating to me that within your community you all subscribe to different opinions about yourselves?
Yes.
It does seem so. Okay, awesome. So tell us, what are the challenges that you are having as the trans in our community? Do you feel that the legislation is being implemented down there? Are people responding? How do people respond to you? I know recently we're having problems about corrective rape happening out there, which is really a painful thing, because at the end of the day, we are all human. But speak for your community. How has it made impact to you? And secondly, also tell us about issues of HIV and AIDS within your community when you are being treated, how the health practitioners respond to you within the country of South Africa, as I see you are all South Africans.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, for me, we had a problem, as a trans woman, I've been experiencing that thing when I went out with my friend, and then there's 2 guys, they said, you react like a woman, we need to correct you. And then they raped me without using condom. And then I went to the Cecilia Makiwana to get a PEP, and then where I have challenged with the nurse. It was a public holiday. It was Friday, a human rights day in last year, and then I had and then the nurse asked me a question. You said you are a female, but you are not a female. You are a male, and then. She said to me, no, you have to wait until Monday. And then I asked her, according to the laws or policy of the PEP, you have to access within 48 hours. And then she said, no, we don't have a nurse, even though she can help me to get the PEP. And then those are the challenges. And also when you go to the clinic or nurse
I'm sorry. So you did not get access to PEP.
Yes. And then she said I had to come on Monday. And on Monday, it's already 72 or 48 hours already passed. And then another issue, when you go to them and then you tell them that I have STI, and they only go to your, in your front, and then they just protect their front genitals. Instead of like, when you told them, I'm not using this, they will say, no, it's against the Bible, it's against the culture. And then they will tell you it's against our culture. You have to, like, if you're born a male, and then you have to act like a male, and then all sort of that thing. And then it's where we started to implementing the program like Love Not Hate, assisting them to report the cases in police stations, etc. Because that's the issue that we are facing as a trans women.
Also, to add on it, we are implementing an HIV program within our organizations, and we're actually educating, because Eastern Cape is very rural, because we're from Eastern Cape. So we're trying to educate everyone on terms of LGBTI rights and issues, and sexual rights and sexual issues. So we have the HIV program, and we're actually implementing that, yes.
I think one of the things is need to be straight. Ne? It's just that whether you are the best traditional healer in the world, whether you're the best priest, whether you are whatever, culture and iBhayibheli, corrective rape, zonke lezi zinto bacabanga ukuthi zingazicorrect ukuthi you change from being gay and being straight, they are not working. That they must know straight. And then this, when xa ngibuyela kwilento le correction rape, I think kumele sibatshele, because most of the time yenziwa zii-males. I think kumele bazi nje straight ukuthi ayisebenzi. Noma ungubani wakuphi, noma ungamenzani ayisebenzi.
Thank you so much for being here today and having an interview with. Yes.
I think another thing that on the clinics, they are accommodating like straight people. Like when you go them, you're just getting the male's condom. There's no lubrication for the trans women and the gays. And also there's no finger doms for the lesbians. And also when you access to the clinic, when you enter to the clinic, you see those pictures like a female and male. That's another issue that we are facing to our clinic.
So where do you go in the female and male? Where do you go?
No, for me, I just like just ignore them, because when you go to the female, they will tell you that you are not a female, you don't have like to access this service, and then I just go to the chemist. I'm no longer using the public health.
Because of the discrimination.
Yes.
Thank you very much for having an interview with us today. Beatrice Piri from Zambia, young girl. So nice to see Southern African girls getting involved. Tell us, what are your views about HIV and AIDS, and tell us about its presence in Zambia, and what positive impact are you making in Zambia?
Well, HIV and AIDS really has a great impact on young people, especially in Zambia. You know, we have a lot of things that Zambia is lacking behind. I'll talk of issues of youth-friendly facilities. You know, many youths in our Zambian culture, you know, do not have youth-friendly activities, youth-friendly facilities, because the government has not put in place that. Many organizations has not come on board to make sure that young people have these youth-friendly facilities. And the other problem that we actually have in Zambia is that youths are not accessing contraceptives freely because of the judgments that goes behind it. You know, if for instance I want to go to a clinic and get a condom, my parents would be like, why are you getting a condom? So this all time along you've been having sex, you've been doing sex. So there is always that misconception between parents and we the young people, because we have different opinions and parents have different opinions about what HIV is, but we only are trying to protect ourselves from such activities.
So a young girl is HIV positive in Zambia, whether it's in the urban areas or in the rural areas. She doesn't know who to tell. What would you say that she should do? Maybe she's thinking, really, life has ended for me. Or she's thinking, you know, how do I tell family? What do I do? What do you tell her? Where should she go?
I think the best thing she can actually do is first to come out in the open. By that, she would actually be protecting her relatives from also contracting HIV, because HIV is not only contracted by having sex, but it is contracted by so many ways. So she might also risk her family to contract HIV if she does not come out on to the open and just tell them that I am HIV positive. And if she does that, that is a great step, and that's the brave step that she can actually take. And she can also join different organizations if there are organizations, NGOs in her community that support young people living with HIV/AIDS. I think the best thing she can do is to actually join those organizations, because in those youthful organizations she'll actually have access to information on the issues she's going through.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What do you think that if Nkosi Johnson were here today, 16 years later, remember in one of the conferences, he actually said, he requested for the leaders, and he said that please make ARVs available for all. And what would you think that he would say today if he was still alive?
He would be celebrating. He really would, because he did stand up and say please, and his particular concern was mother-to-child transmission. He never wanted another baby to be infected through HIV. He really did not. He knew what it was like. He hated being infected, but the success of the Prevention of Mother-to-Child Transmission campaign in South Africa, he would be drinking a bottle of champagne, and I would be joining him, because really, if any campaign deserves accolades, it's that campaign.
So where to from here? You being the person in the spotlight, I think the world wants to know where to from here. He's not here, but you are here. His spirit is here. His cause is still the focus. And where to from here for Gail Johnson?
Well, I'm going to march first, and so that's in the immediacy. But I will keep his project going, which is in Nkosi's Haven, which is long-term residential care center for the destitute infected mom and her kids, and I will continue doing that. And it's almost a deja vu, because I sort of looking for him, if you know what I mean. But yes, I'm here because he fought the good fight. We seem to be winning, certainly in South Africa, and it's stunning. I'm very worried about our young people, though, and we need to do something. But yes, it's great to be here. And the march is to say, don't withdraw funds. Please keep giving funds throughout the world, because people and countries throughout the world need the support of funds.
And thank you very much for the sacrifices you made and you keep making.
Thank you so much.